Okay, we'll start now. See, today what we are going to do is we will take up the discussion on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Now, he is one of the most important modern India philosophers, and on him, the influence of Vedanta is very, very high, and that is why his philosophy is also sometimes called integral Vedanta. So, what we will do today is we will try to grasp what are the basic tenets of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, and then we'll also try to see a few PYQs uh, uh, just to see how we can write good answers and what kinds of questions come from Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. Uh, 2024 question paper I have already uh, discussed and solved, given the model answers, videos, etc. are available on YouTube channel. So today in PYQs, we will be taking up 2023 and 2022 PYQs, whatever are directly related with Sri Aurobindo. Now, from this topic, usually in a year, 10 to 15 marks questions are asked. Sometimes only one short question will be there. Sometimes 15 marks question also will be there. So usually we see, that is the trend. But this is important because unless, you write the answer for this, your question will not be complete. And moreover, it's quite easy to understand also. So therefore, Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, uh, being easy to understand, one should grasp very easily and try to complete the answers whenever appearing in the actual exam. So now let us see. I will just share the PDF and then we will continue. Uh, the previous PDFs also can be accessed by students from my WhatsApp channel and Telegram channel. So you can join. You can see the link also of those channels in the description of the YouTube channel itself. So you can join and you can access the previous PDF notes also, whichever I am using in the class. So now let us start with Sri Aurobindo's integral Vedanta and evolutionary spirituality. This is basically the essence of his philosophy and its name of his philosophy. As we know, he was one of the important modern India philosophers and 20th century philosopher mainly. He was highly educated. He was educated in England, then uh, returned to India, and then also participated in freedom struggle, and then finally uh, moved to spirituality from political activism. So that is basically the early life of uh, Sri Aurobindo. His books, main books, which is very, very important, is Life Divine. And then he also wrote Synthesis of Yoga and then Savitri, one philosophical epic poem also. And then he has also written extensive commentaries on Vedas, Upanishads, and Gita also. Mostly, Life Divine is quoted for many references as far as Sri Aurobindo is concerned. Now, let us see what was his metaphysics and how he has borrowed heavily from Vedanta philosophy and how he built up his own philosophy. Now, let us try to understand that. See, Aurobindo's metaphysics, as I told, is based on Advait Vedanta, Advait, that is non-dualism, but it's also a little different from Advait Vedanta of Shankaracharya. Because if you remember, uh, Shankaracharya has given the philosophy that this world is an illusion created by Maya. Whereas Sri Aurobindo said that this world is real. For Aurobindo, supreme reality is Brahm, just like Shankaracharya, but whose fullest positive characterization is Sachidanand, Sat, Chit, and Anand. These three words: existence, consciousness, and bliss. But unlike Shankara, Aurobindo maintains that word is real manifestation. So therefore, Brahma is both the transcendent and immanent principle. So this is the main difference between Shankaracharya's philosophy and Aurobindo's philosophy. Then Aurobindo also comes up with another concept of supermind. He says that supermind or Vijnana acts as the creative dynamic principle mediating between transcendental Sachidanand and the lower planes of existence. So he gave, it is the truth consciousness that is Satyam Ritam Brihat. This was what is given by him. The plane where unity and multiplicity, one and many, being and becoming are harmonized. So for him, supermind is very crucial. It is both a metaphysical principle and the evolutionary destiny of humanity. So supermind we will see further also in the notes, because it's very, very important concept brought out by Sri Aurobindo. Not only its metaphysical principle, but also evolutionary goal of humanity. See, now he has given another concept of involution and evolution. So what is involution and what is evolution? Let us try to understand that. Involution is the descent of supreme into the matter. The process whereby Sachidanand, that is supreme, Brahm, you can say, through supermind, projects itself into lower planes, that is mind, life, and matter. So that is how evolution, that is how creation takes place, basically. That is the concept of Sri Aurobindo. So involution he has brought for explaining the creation from Brahm to matter, life, and mind. This is a self-limitation or self-concealment of divine, akin to Upanishadic Leela. So this is what he says, but differing from obviously Advait's Maya, because this is real. Advait's Maya is not real, it's mithya. But here, this whole change is ontologically real. The word is not an accidental or meaningless emergence, but a deliberate, purposeful manifestation of Brahma. It is his Leela. This is what is involution. Now, what is evolution? Evolution is exactly reverse of involution. So, evolution is the ascent, the return journey of the spirit towards self-manifestation and perfection. So, in involution, the supreme descends to matter. In evolution, matter evolves to supreme or manifests to perfection. So Aurobindo's evolutionary vision was that evolution is spiritual. If you remember, Darwin has given that evolution is biological. But Aurobindo says, no, it's also spiritual, with each stage of matter, life, and mind prefigured and supported by presence of higher realities within the lower. So he gives a teleology in his evolution, spiritual evolution. Evolution is purpose driven. The lower matter contains potentiality to the higher, that is life, mind, and supermind. So that's what was his concept. He basically says that when a higher principle emerges, it integrates the previous stages of matter into itself. So if you remember, this is somehow like Hegel's philosophy: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. But here it's all not a material level, it's on a spiritual level. So this is the difference, main difference. Now he has given eightfold order of manifestation. By what are they? Matter, evolution, basically, if you can understand, evolution starts from matter and goes up to existence, whereas involution starts from existence and goes up to matter. So this is what basically Aurobindo's philosophy of involution and evolution. So matter, life, psyche, mind, supermind, bliss, consciousness, and existence. So this is, and last three basically Sachitanand. So this represents the Brahma or Supreme. So, and he says that current evolutionary phase is of mind. That is fifth. From here it will go to supermind and then it will go to Sachitanand. So he says next leap will be supramental consciousness, heralding the Gnostic being and divine life. Now, what is his integral yoga? Now, let us try to understand that. Basically, integral yoga is a path to transformation, path to evolution. So, what's its nature and what's its aim? Integral yoga or Purna yoga, as he says, an all-encompassing discipline synthesizing the traditional yogas of karma, jnana, and bhakti. So that is integral yoga. Basically, it's not only, if you remember, Patanjali's yoga is mostly karma yoga. But here, all the three, karma, bhakti, and jnana, has to be integrated or synthesized to bring out an all-encompassing discipline. And that is the Purna yoga or integral yoga of Aurobindo. What is aim? Its aim is not only individual liberation, but collective spiritual transformation, realization of divine not merely in transcendent terms, but in the word itself. And he comes out with a theory of triple transformation. So it's not a single transformation, but it's triple transformation. What are the three transformations? First is psychicization. That is realization and manifestation of psychic being. That is Vijnana or Jivatmana, the divine soul at the core of individuality. The first step involves going inward, discovering the inmost self and letting it lead the transformation of outer nature. Second is spiritualization. That is the opening of mind, life, and body to higher spiritual consciousness, infusing them with divine light, peace, and knowledge. Third is supramentalization. The descent of supramental, that is truth consciousness, resulting in a radical qualitative change, a Gnostic or supramental being which embodies divine unity, harmony, and knowledge on earth. So these are three basically integrated kinds of changes. Now, how it contrasts with, how is integral yoga contrasts with traditional yoga? I have already told, let us understand that also in little more detail. Traditional systems like Patanjali focuses on moksha and withdrawal from the world. Aurobindo insists that true spirituality must transform earthly existence itself. Then he also says the ascent to supermind is not just an individual achievement, but a cosmic evolutionary milestone. What is methodology of integral yoga? Methodology, no rigid external rituals like Patanjali's yoga, which emphasize purification, concentration, surrender, or aspiration. Here the process is gradual, requiring patience and perseverance, but is open to all. Now, how this compares with other schools of Indian philosophy, now let us try to understand that and its critical perspective also. Now, Shankar Sadvaita Vedanta, the world is ultimately unreal. Realization involves negating the world through knowledge. That is Shankar Sadvaita Vedanta. Aurobindo says the world is a real progressive manifestation of divine. How it differs with Sankhya Yoga? Sankhya Yoga posits dualism of Purusha and Prakriti. Liberation is the separation of Purusha and Prakriti, again through knowledge. Aurobindo says no, it's non-dualism. Matter is divine in essence, to be transformed rather than escaped. Then Patanjali's yoga focuses on individual liberation via suppression of the mental modifications, that is Chitta Vritti Nirodh. We have already seen that. Aurobindo says or emphasizes collective evolution and transformation, not just suppression or escape. Now, influence of Western thought. How when Western thought has influenced the Aurobindo's philosophy, let us try to understand that. Hegel, if you say, I told spirit involves dialectically. Aurobindo's dialectic is teleological, creative, and ultimately spiritual, not logical. Because what Hegel says, it's material, it's logical. But here it's teleological, creative, and ultimately spiritual. Then again, Bergson's creative evolution as an internal driving force. Aurobindo aligns but roots the force in spirit rather than vitalism. Spinoza, how Spinoza has influenced or how it's different. Spinoza, non-dual substance. Aurobindo's Brahm is dynamic and evolutionary, not static, because Spinoza's substance is static. Then comparison with Darwinian evolution, because from all these philosophers and thinkers, some or the other thing has been borrowed by Aurobindo. Darwin's evolution is materialistic, accidental, and non-teleological. Aurobindo's evolution is spiritual, purposeful, and teleological. Evolution is the self-unfolding of the divine already present in the matter. But there are a number of criticisms and limitations in Aurobindo's theory. And first and most important is empirical verifiability. Critics such as Radhakrishnan and modern critic Bhattacharya point out that Aurobindo's metaphysics and evolution schema, though profound, because logically it may be very consistent, but remains outside the scope of scientific falsifiability, which means it may be a just imagination kind of thing. So, there are problems. Now, second is teleological problem. Modern biology does not admit purpose-driven evolution. So, Aurobindo's vision is often seen as speculative and mystical. It cannot be proved by modern science or modern biology, and its empirical verifiability is questioned. It is considered as speculative. It is considered as mystical, because things cannot be proved. Whatever he has enunciated is, cannot be proved by empirical verification. Another, practical utopianism. The prospect of a supramental species of divine life on earth is inspiring but lacks empirical support. Is again a problem. Problem of evil and suffering, because problem of evil is a very big problem. And definitely, if you say that everything is spiritually evolving to a goal or teleology, how does the presence of evil, ignorance, and suffering align with word as a divine manifestation? Aurobindo addresses this as the play of divine, but critics see this as a metaphysical optimism without sufficient resolution. So that is also very, very important. But having said all these criticisms and critical views regarding Aurobindo, it has a very, very important importance and contribution. For example, philosophical synthesis. So it achieved a rare synthesis of Vedantic vision, evolutionary teleology, and Western critical rationality. All the three are synthesized in Aurobindo's philosophy. Then critical anti-dogmatism, like Charvak's challenge orthodoxy. Aurobindo's philosophy rejuvenated Indian thought by questioning static traditions and urging a philosophy of transformation. So this is again a very, very important contribution from Aurobindo. So this is a philosophy of transformation. His is not a philosophy of escape, but of transformation and transmutation, aiming at the divinization of terrestrial existence. Then again, last, influence on modern thought. Aurobindo's work underpins movements in holistic education, integral health, evolutionary spirituality, and contemporary explorations in consciousness studies. So it has a very great influence as far as modern thought is concerned. Now, what we will do is, this is in brief Aurobindo's philosophy. Now we'll see a few PYQs. As I already told, 2024 question paper I have already taken up. This is 2023 and 22. I will take up now what Aurobindo's questions from this Aurobindo's topic was directly asked in those years. So in 2023, if we see, the question was 5th E, explain the nature and role of supermind in evolution as per Aurobindo's philosophy. So this is 10 marks question, 150 words one has to write, and the directive is explain, which means we have a scope of in about 25 to 30% weightage we can give to critical evolution of Aurobindo's concept, nature and role of supermind in evolution. So now let us see. First, we will try to give exposition, and then we will try to give briefly a critical evolution also, very briefly, because the directive is explained. And what we have to explain, nature and role of supermind in evolution. So this is also very, very important. We cannot write each and everything regarding Aurobindo. We have to simply focus what is nature and role of supermind in evolution. So now let us see what is that. In Sri Aurobindo's integral Vedanta, the supermind, that is Vijnana, is the truth consciousness that mediates between the transcendent Sachidanand and evolving universe. So directly we are now going to answer. We are not building any introduction here. We will not introducing the subject, because 150 words means directly you have to attempt the question without beating around the bush. Unlike the divided human mind, supermind perceives unity in multiplicity, integrating will, knowledge, and action without contradiction. It plays a central role in evolution as the instrument of divine manifestation, guiding the ascent from matter to life, to mind, and ultimately to the Gnostic supramental being. Evolution is not random but teleological, aiming toward the full embodiment of divine consciousness on earth. So now, if you see, these two paragraphs are exposition of the concept. What is the nature and what is its role in evolution? So first paragraph mostly gives the nature of supermind. Second paragraph gives role of supermind in evolution. And now we'll go to critical part. Radhakrishnan and Mahadevan, both modern thinkers, praise Aurobindo's spiritual cosmology, while Surendranath, another modern thinker, critiques its lack of empirical verification, viewing it as a visionary mysticism. This is what word has been given by Surendranath Dasgupta. Yet Aurobindo offers a profound integration of Vedantic metaphysics and evolutionary purpose. The supermind is both the source and culmination of evolution, ensuring its divine direction and transformative potential. Now, this completes the 150-word answer. This is very balanced answer. We have given first exposition, then we have given a critical view. Critical view is also balanced. If some thinker has said about something positive about the whole theory, that also has been mentioned, then negative has been mentioned, and then finally, a brief conclusion of about one sentence. So this was in 2023. Now, in 2022, from Aurobindo, there was a question of 15 marks and 225 words. We write usually 15 marks question, 225 words we write. So question is, explain and evaluate the role of integral yoga in the process of triple transformation for individual evolution as expounded by Sri Aurobindo. So here you see, explain and evaluate. This is the directive, which means it will be 60-40, 60% for exposition and 40% for critical evaluation. This is what we have to write, because the directive is evaluate. And what is the what we have to give exposition of? The role of integral yoga in the process of triple transformation for individual evolution. So now let us go to that. See, Aurobindo's integral yoga aims not at a withdrawal from the bird, but at its transformation into divine life. It unfolds through triple transformation. What are the triple transformation? Psychic, spiritual, and supramental, leading to the full manifestation of Sachidanand in the human being. Now we'll have to briefly describe what is the psychic transformation, what is spiritual transformation, and what is supramental. Psychic transformation involves the emergence of psychic being, the soul behind the heart, This inner being purifies the outer instruments of mind, life, and body and aligns them with the divine will. Spiritual transformation opens higher planes of peace, silence, and vastness, revealing the self as distinct from ego. However, dualities and divisions persist. What is supramental? The supramental transformation occurs through descent of supermind, integrating mind and matter into a harmonious whole. This results in the emergence of Gnostic being envisioned by Aurobindo and the mother. So, till now, till this paragraph, this is exposition. Now we'll critically evaluate the whole idea. Critically, thinkers like Mahadevan, Radhakrishnan admire Aurobindo's synthesis of Vedanta and evolution. Kapali Sastri expanded the yogic methods for supramental descent, yet Surendra Das Gupta and Paul Brenton caution that it remains visionary, lacking demonstrable outcomes. The idea of Gnostic being may seem speculative, but Aurobindo's integration of yoga, cosmology, and ethics represents a unique evolutionary theism. So, in critical evaluation, we have not only said negative points, we have also told positive points. And then finally, what is the contribution? A positive looking conclusion. So, even though there is a negative, there are negative points as far as Aurobindo's philosophy or Aurobindo's evolution, but yet it has a very, very positive impact as far as integration of yoga, cosmology, ethics in evolutionary theism is concerned. Thus, integral yoga envisions not only individual liberation, but the divine transformation of life itself. Now, this completes the PYQs for 2 years, 2023 and 2022, where direct questions from Aurobindo's philosophy have come. 2024, I have already told. 2024, I have already given the model answers. I have discussed those questions so that you can see previous videos also on YouTube channel itself. For notes, etc., you may join the WhatsApp group and Telegram group. Links have already been given in the description. Please see that. Now, next week, as you know, on 31st of this month, 31st of August 2025, we have now philosophy optional paper of 2025 UPSC exam. So next week or next class, what I will be doing is, I will take up the discussion on 2025 philosophy exam paper itself. And we'll try to understand what was the standard of the question. And then we'll go, section by section, we'll try to discuss the questions, we'll try to find out the model answers. So that's what I'm going to do from next class. So maybe in next 3-4 classes, I will try to cover the both papers of philosophy 2025 exam. So this completes my today's video. Now, thanks for watching today's video. Thank you.